Mal Soon is an elderly widow who lives with her son Hyun Chul, a university professor, her daughter-in-law Ija, her grandson Jaha, who's in a band, and her granddaughter Hana. Life hasn't been easy for Mal Soon. She lost her husband young and had to raise Hyun Chul alone while working hard to make ends meet. But now that she's older, she's become quite the handful, stubborn, bossy, and constantly arguing with people over how they do things. It's especially tough on Ija, who's already struggling with depression and is on medication to cope. Thankfully, Mal Soon doesn't just stay home all day. She helps out at a cafe with her childhood friend, Mr. Park. One regular visitor is Okja, a woman Mal Soon can't stand and calls a vixen. The two bicker constantly, and today's no different. Okja throws insults, flirts with Mr. Park, and Mal Soon finally snaps, jumping on her in a full-on scuffle. Mr. Park tries to break them up, but ends up getting hurt in the process. Later at home, his daughter Na-young chews him out for always sticking up for Mal Soon and getting nothing but bruises in return. That's when Mal Soon shows up, umbrella in hand, and scolds Na-young right back for disrespecting her dad. When Na-young demands an apology for her father's injury, Mal Soon flat out refuses. Before heading off, she leaves a bag of peaches for Mr. Park, and he runs out to offer her a ride on his bike. But Na-young just watches in disbelief. How can Mal Soon not know he's allergic to peaches if they're supposed to be such close friends? Meanwhile, at a TV studio, music producer Sung Woo is having a rough day. Every band auditioning looks the same and sings the same, just pretty faces with no soul. His assistant, Soo-yeon, jokes that maybe they should just get an elderly go singer and let the young ones lip sync. Back at home, Mal Soon is scolding Ija over how she's cooking, while Jiha tries to sneak out for an audition. Both women catch him, and Ija scolds him for not focusing on school. But Mal Soon steps in, hands Jiha some cash, and encourages him to chase his dreams. After he's gone, Ija tries to push back. She wants to raise her kids her way, but Mal Soon won't have it. She thinks Ija has it easy. Her husband has a good job. She stays home, and still she's stressed. Mal Soon can't relate, not after all she went through on her own. Meanwhile, Jiha's audition tanks. The band is solid, but the lead singer can't hit a note. Turns out she was out clubbing all night and never quit smoking. Jiha calls her out for not taking things seriously, and she just quits on the spot. That evening, after returning home with groceries, Mal Soon walks into a frightening scene. She finds Ija collapsed on the floor. Ija is rushed to the hospital immediately, and after undergoing surgery, the doctor informs Hyun Chul that his wife will need to rest in a completely stress-free environment. Once they're back home, Hyun Chul sits down with his kids to talk about sending Mal Soon to a retirement home. Hana is on board with the idea, but Jiha disagrees. Mal Soon overhears everything. Though clearly upset, she accepts the decision without a fight for Ija's sake. Hyun Chul tries to reassure her, saying it's just temporary and that he'll bring her back once Ija recovers. Still, the move takes a toll on Mal Soon. She loses her usual spark, and even at the cafe with Mr. Park, she's not her energetic self. Things take a turn for the worse when a woman storms into the cafe, furious. Her family once helped Mal Soon back when she was a struggling single mom, giving her food and shelter. But she accuses Mal Soon of betrayal, claiming she stole their secret soup recipe and opened a competing restaurant in the same town, which ultimately led to the downfall of their business. Mal Soon tries to walk away from the confrontation, unwilling to engage, but the woman won't let her go so easily. She physically attacks Mal Soon, who doesn't fight back. Mr. Park has to intervene and restrain the woman. While he holds her back, Mal Soon quietly defends herself, explaining that she did what she had to do to give her son a better life. That night, Mal Soon waits alone at a bus stop, quietly crying, when she gets a call from Jiha. He asks if she can take him and his band out for dinner. She agrees and says she'll meet them at the station. But before going there, she stops by a photo studio that catches her eye. It has an Audrey Hepburn portrait in the window. Feeling sentimental, she goes in and asks to have a nice picture taken for a future memorial altar. The photographer promises to make her look 50 years younger. When a session is over, Mal Soon gets on the bus, but something feels off. 3 young men start flirting with her, and she's completely confused until she catches a glimpse of her reflection and realizes she now looks 20 again. Stunned, she stops at a pharmacy to ask for tranquilizers, try to make sense of what's happening. Then she remembers Jiha is waiting at the station. But when she sees him there with his friends, she doesn't have the courage to approach them in her new, youthful form. She ignores his calls and rushes back to the photo studio, only to find it gone. In its place is a restaurant whose owner says the space has been theirs for 10 years. There's never been a photo studio there. Malsoon doesn't go home that night, leaving her family and Mr. Park deeply worried. The police, however, tell them it's still too soon to file a missing person report. In truth, Malsoon spends the night at a community center. When she wakes up the next morning, the first thing she notices is the absence of pain. None of the usual morning aches are there. Seeing all those elderly ladies at the community center make her swear she'll never go back to that. Now that she's young again, she decides to enjoy every second. She buys new clothes, gets her hair cut in a classic Audrey Hepburn style, and pays for everything with her debit card at the ATM. Next stop is Mr. Park's house. She rents the spare room he's advertising and introduces herself as Oduri, her own playful twist on Audrey. After settling in, she swings by her family's place and slips a note under the door to let them know she's okay. The following day, she hangs around Mr. Park's cafe. She looks totally out of place in the sea of elderly regulars. When OK Ja finishes a SOSO karaoke song, Malsoon, now Duri, grabs the mic next. She belts out a tune with real emotion, and everyone in the cafe is blown away. Among the onlookers are Jiha, who dropped by to ask about his missing grandma, and producer Sung-woo with his assistant Soo-yeon, who heard the voice from the street and stepped inside. As soon as the song ends, she gets a standing ovation, but Duri bolts. She's worried Jiha might recognize her. Both Jiha and Sung-woo chase after her, eager to recruit her, but she's already vanished. That evening, Jiha visits Mr. Park's place and runs into Duri again. Over drinks, he asks her to join his band as their new vocalist. Seeing how down he is, she agrees. The next day, she meets the band and is horrified by their loud metal sound and edgy look. She insists they should try something brighter and more upbeat. The guys aren't thrilled, but one wink and a blown kiss from Duri changes their minds. They try her style a local park, and the crowd loves it. People fill their tip jar. A few days later, they land at a bar gig. The band ditches the metal outfits for cute stage clothes to match Duri, and they're a hit. One evening, Sung-woo spots Duri arguing with a mom on the train. When she gets off, he follows her, but isn't subtle enough. She notices right away and thinks he's stalking her. She scolds him and tries to leave, but he stops her by the shoulder, still hoping to talk. The tug accidentally lowers her blouse. Duri immediately bursts into loud tears, accusing him of being inappropriate. The police haul Sung-woo away. Once they're out of earshot, she drops the act, clearly pleased with herself. The next day, Malsoon, still rocking that purple umbrella, heads over to her family's house because Jiha has invited her for lunch. Aija looks healthier than before and greets her with perfect manners, but Hana is outright rude. Jiha blames the attitude on their grandma, and that stings Malsoon a bit. While lunch is cooking, she asks for a tour of the place and persuades Jiha to show her his grandma's bedroom. At first, it's just small talk, but when Aija calls Jiha to help with the dishes, Malsoon rummages through the dresser. She needs her personal stamp because the family froze her debit card. Meanwhile, Hyunchul and Mr. Park are at the police station looking at security cam footage. It shows someone using Malsoon's ATM card, but the face is hidden under a purple umbrella. They assume she's been abducted. Mr. Park stays quiet, but definitely recognizes that umbrella. Back at the house, the family is eating when Hyunchul walks in. Out of habit, Malsoon greets him like she always used to, and everyone stares at her like she's from another planet. She covers the slip-up by rushing to the bathroom, where she spies through the door and sees Hyunchul refusing to eat. He's clearly a mess. Next day, Mr. Park shadows Malsoon to double-check the umbrella. After she leaves, he sneaks in her room and finds a bag containing her dentures and a pair of old shoes. Unmistakably Malsoon's things. Across town, Sung-woo keeps rejecting bands at auditions until Jiha's group shows up with Malsoon on vocals. He loves them and instantly offers a contract, which they accept. When Malsoon gets home, she sees the bag with her dentures hanging on the clothesline. Mr. Park tries to sneak up and knock her out, but she turns the tables, overpowers him, and ties him up. He's convinced she murdered Malsoon and begs her to kill him too. He can't live without her. He explains that when he was 13 and lost his parents, Mao Soon's family took him in, and her smile always kept him going. Feeling sorry, Mao Soon smiles brightly and asks why he can't recognize her. After a good look, Mr. Park finally realizes she actually is Mao Soon. The next day, the two of them hang out at the cafe. She tells him about the band's upcoming concert, her first real shot at the singing career she's always dreamed of. When Mr. Park cracks a bad joke, Mao Soon responds by stuffing a spoonful of shaved ice into his mouth. This playful moment is spotted from another table by Okja, who now assumes Mr. Park is dating someone much younger. Later, Mao Soon asks Mr. Park for a favor. She wants her family to stop worrying about her. To help, Mr. Park invites Hyunchul and Aija over and tells them he's seen Mao Soon and she's doing fine. He explains she's finally living the life she always dreamed of and asks them to unblock her debit card. Meanwhile, Na Young is at the community center when Okja tells her about the mysterious young woman who's probably after her father's property. Na Young brushes it off until she gets home and sees her dad working out to look younger. Now, she's starting to believe Okja might be right. The next morning, Mr. Park picks up Mao Soon at the bus stop, presenting her with a flower in an attempt to be charming. Teenagers nearby laugh, and even Mao Soon teases him for it, but she still accepts the ride. They head to the TV studio where the band is set to debut. On stage, Mao Soon sings with genuine emotion, her mind replaying memories of her late husband, their love, and the struggles she faced raising her son alone. By the time the performance ends, tears are streaming down her face, but the crowd is completely moved. A few days later, the group, including Mr. Park, Sung-woo, and Soo-yeon, spends the day at a water park. In one of the big wave pools, a strong surge knocks Mao Soon and Mr. Park off their feet. Mr. Park ends up passed out on the shore, and Sung-woo pulls Mao Soon to safety. As she rests, he tries to get to know her better, but she sidesteps his questions, hinting she'll share more someday. There's a spark between them. Their chat is cut short when Sung-woo notices her foot is bleeding. When Mao Soon checks it, she panics. The skin around the cut has gone wrinkly, just like her old self. She quickly says she's heading to the hospital and hurries off. Later, at home, Mr. Park runs a quiet test. He pokes her foot with a pin, and sure enough, the skin around the wound wrinkles too. Just then, Na Young walks into the room and misreads the situation. Convinced something inappropriate is going on, she grabs Mao Soon and throws her out into the backyard, yelling at her to get out. Mr. Park defends Mao Soon, which quickly escalates into an argument with Na Young. She ends up in tears, and seeing the damage her presence has caused, Mao Soon decides to leave so she won't cause any more trouble. Mr. Park wants to chase after her, but Na Young clings to him and refuses to let him go. The next day, Mr. Park is so distressed from not hearing from Mao Soon that he decides to tell Hyunchul the truth. But Hyunchul doesn't believe a word of it. He thinks Mr. Park is either suffering from dementia or is just overwhelmed emotionally. He tries to call a doctor. Frustrated and heartbroken, Mr. Park gives up and returns home, staying locked in his room all day, consumed with regret over losing Mao Soon. Meanwhile, Mao Soon has answered a call from Sung-woo and ends up staying the night at his apartment. They share dinner and a long, easygoing conversation. Sung-woo makes it clear he's interested in her, but Mao Soon can't let herself fall for someone so much younger. Instead of rejecting him outright, she keeps filling his glass until he drinks himself to sleep. Back at home, Aija quietly returns to her antidepressants, and she can't stop hearing Mao Soon's scolding voice in her head. The next day, the band is recording their first single, but another producer points out that the slow song doesn't suit their image. Sung-woo agrees they need to bring in a new composer, which infuriates Jiha. He was the one who wrote the song. He storms out. Mao Soon follows him, trying to explain that Sung-woo only wants the best for the group. But Jiha lashes out, accusing her of sleeping with Sung-woo since he heard she spent the night at his place. Mao Soon responds by slapping him repeatedly, furious at the accusation. But afterward, she softens and takes him out to lunch to turn him down kindly and make her boundaries clear. Later, Mao Soon meets Mr. Park at the park. He's worried because she hasn't been keeping in touch. He also suspects she's in love with someone else. Jealous but sincere, he tells her he'll accept it if it means she's happy. Mao Soon gives him another bag of peaches and gently asks him to look after Okja. But Mr. Park breaks the news. Okja collapsed last week from a cerebral hemorrhage and is now in the hospital. That night, back at home, Hyunchul checks in on Jiha, who's busy at his desk, composing a new song for the band. He tells his son the song is very good and wishes him good luck, but before leaving, he can't help noticing a picture of the band. He then goes to search for some old pictures of him as a baby and realizes how similar the woman from the band and his own mother look. Some days later, Malsoon has a date with Sungwoo at the park, and when he confesses his feelings, she tells him she can't accept them because the age difference between them is too big. Sungwoo thinks she means he's too old for her. When they're done, he drops her at the hospital, gifting her a hair clip and kissing her forehead before leaving. Malsoon enters the building, intending to visit Okja, but it's too late. She's already dead. She's so upset by this news that she leaves without noticing Mr. Park is there as well. The day the big show finally comes and Jiha is running late because he's stuck in traffic. Seeing as the cab won't be moving anytime soon, he gets out and grabs a public bicycle, which he begins riding like a madman through the streets. This recklessness has its consequences. Jiha is suddenly hit by a truck and taken to the hospital. When the news reaches the band, Sungwoo wants to cancel their performance, but Malsoon refuses. She thinks the right thing to do is make the world hear Jiha's song and sing it so loud he'll feel better. The band accepts to perform, and the song is received well, making it a big success. As soon as they're done, Malsoon rushes to the hospital and arrives just in time. It turns out Jiha's blood type is AB, which nobody in the family has accepted her, so she offers herself up for a transfusion. This worries Mr. Park, and he drags her out to have a private talk with her, reminding her this is going to make her old again and she'll lose the chance to live her dream. Her grandson's life is more important, though. And as she goes back to the main hallway to find the doctors, she finds Hyunchul instead, who has been listening to their conversation. He confesses he knows who she is and asks her to leave because she already sacrificed her dreams for his sake, so it wouldn't be fair for her to do it again for her grandson. Once again, she refuses, saying it's okay to be old if she gets to be with her family. The two of them cry and hug before Malsoon is taken to the operating room, where she's connected to Jiha to transfer the blood as she slowly transforms back into her elderly body. A year later, the band continues to be a success with a healthy Jiha and Hana as the new vocalist. Their parents and Malsoon go to all their concerts to support them, and Aija and Malsoon are getting along better now. After the concert is over, Malsoon sees Sungwoo from afar and decides not to approach him. But as she leaves, he is surprised to see the same hairpin he had gifted her in the hair of an old lady. Meanwhile, Mr. Park finds a photo studio, which this time has a picture of James Dean in the window. After getting his picture taken, he goes to the bus stop to pick up Malsoon, revealing his new, handsome young face when he takes off his helmet. The teenagers that made fun of him last time now look at him in awe, but he only has eyes for Malsoon, who gets on the bike with him and scolds him for never telling her he was allergic to peaches.